The first session for today is 5 Ways to Start and Build a Community by Mr. Janardhan Reveru. He's a community leader at JavaScript Meetup. So let's welcome him. Over to you, sir.
A brief about my experience. I've been associated with open source initiatives for the last 15 years. 2015 is when really a good thing happened. As part of this grand forum of Open Source India conference, I met a person. His name is Ganesh. He was a speaker, one of the speakers, and I was speaking on JavaScript latest features ES6. So he already started off a meetup named on the core Java, and he suggested me, hey Janardhan, you seem to be passionate about the web technologies. So why don't you get started, right? I thought maybe I should give it a thought. I spent almost 1 month time understanding what is this meetup and what is this concept, how does it work. But then that was a good thing. I had a good mentor like Hari as well as Ganesh. And that's when I started off this journey of as a community leader. Since then, there have been a lot of good things that happened. For example, companies like Microsoft, Google, Huawei have recognized the contributions made, and they have invited me into various forums where I could be part of a web technology advisory group. I could be part of web community group, and even the application library group, which Harmony OS is being built for, right? So the journey has been fantastic. And the ones that you see in the red are some things I have failed. When I say I have failed, it did not yield the kind of results I would have expected. So my journey has not been always everything went on smooth, but then, there have been learnings where, it did not work as expected. So I'm going to summarize all that in this next 20 minutes. If I have to mention, okay, in the last so many years, what I spent, what is that if I have to choose one word on, how is the journey as a community leader, I would say it's an adventure into the wild forest. You can go with a lot of preparation with your backpack and other things, but be sure that technology may not help in the deep woods. It will only help to some extent. You will find other travelers there who are very helpful in nature, but then, you have to deal with some of the surprises yourself. So it's an adventure worth taking. That is the shortest thing I can tell about this. The very first question, right? Why build a community? Yeah, that's the most important part. If I had to answer why build a community, number one is, this is the most important thing I have learned, is build a community because you want to build it. Okay. Many times we fall into this trap that, hey, there is a need for a community and then I'm going to build it. There are certain problems to be solved and I want to address it. And there are many people who are suffering or who will get benefited out of this. So I want to do that, right? All reasons are very valid. Okay. I'm completely with you on that. And it's a valid reason. But then at the end of the day, whether a community is thriving or going to be in a mode of, non-functional, it entirely depends on you as a leader, right? If you want to know more about it, the journey of being a community leader is almost similar to, the talk given by Anurag Kashyap, director as part of Josh Talks. It's a 30-minute YouTube video. I would highly encourage you to watch it. You will get to know in terms of, it's highly inspirational. You will never be disappointed in the whole journey, what you'll be doing. So definitely that's what I'll talk more about it. Why I mentioned that, because you want to, why not? It is for the sake of others. We'll touch about that. One trend I have been observing last 10 years in this industry is the community leaders are becoming more and more powerful. Okay. Just to give an example, Eyeball, if you take as a company, they have a brand ambassador who is a celebrity. And then there is a YouTuber who talks about the products and comparison. I would more rely on the YouTuber who is doing reviews of the technology reviews and giving the right advice. I would rather follow that person, rather buy a product because a celebrity is endorsing a product, right? So the community leaders have a very great influence, not only on how the community will behave, but also the corporates. Corporates are seeking people who are community leaders. There are new positions that are created where if you have a mix of a skill and you have a community leadership attributes, you are highly sought after. For example, the developer advocate, if you take, or putting a strategy. There are even positions till a vice president level where you want to put a strategy on how do you want to engage your community? Because community pretty much drives your technology behaviors and also the thriving community which develops a lot of technology areas, right? If you take Microsoft, Google, Amazon, you take any, they all are looking for people who are influenced in the community. Either you could be directly associated with them as an employer, or you could be a contractor, or you could be just, you have a tie-up with them, where they will sponsor you some events and then do some things, right? But this is definitely a role, and I only see it increasing in the next 5 to 10 years. So definitely there is a reason. Whether you want to do this full time or whether you want to do it part time, there is definitely a great demand. And these skills are unlike the technical skills where you spend some time or go to a boot camp and learn. These are very practical in nature, and the same skills will also help you to be a good entrepreneur if you have that kind of thing in long term. Now, how do we build a community? The very first thing, do some research. And one trap you may typically fall into is doing too much research. As I mentioned, right? I spent almost 1 month. The Open Source India conference happened sometime in October. I spent time till December searching things and seeing, what is a meetup and other stuff. But that is quite a lot of time. You really do not need to spend so much time for researching. You could do either in 1 day, 1 week, max of 1 month is good enough. But you can do your research. Hey, is there a group similar to that? Do you think there is a need for such a group to be formed? It could be technical, non-technical, it could be adventure sports, it could be anything. So I'm talking in a much broader sense. There are places, 2 places you can go to figure out whether you should start or not. Number one, you can look for meetup.com. Meetup.com is a good place where there are many communities worldwide. They are not limited to geography. And they are also not limited to technology. You pretty much have people who have different and wild and variety of hobbies. You will find them there. The other place where I would suggest you to go is Discord. Though it started initially for gamers, it is quite vibrant in terms of non-gamers also. Discord is another place. If you search for Discord servers, you will be able to find things which are related to the area you want to start a group. So that research should take much less than a week. You can do some research and then see what it does. Then second thing is take action, because just the analysis and negating certain things and, theoretically, this doesn't seem to be a good option. That doesn't seem to be all that is fine, but then you don't lose much. It's very pretty easy and simple to start a meetup group or a group that you want to do, right? So I would rather suggest you to bias towards action rather than doing over-analysis, analysis paralysis. The other thing is, let's say you started a group and then you had your first event. Let's say the registrations came somewhere between 50 to 100, just as an example, okay? And then you realize that the actual turnout was only 10 people. You're deeply, deeply disappointed. Hey, you know what? I thought that, there was a lot of interest in the forum. And then when people really turned up, it was quite less, right? That is a pattern that we see all through. The ratios we have seen at different points of time. We have seen ratios 3:1, like 3 people register for an event, 1 person turns out. Similarly, we have even seen 5:1, 5 people register for it and 1 person turns out. And in the online world, it's much worse. Okay. And to put it in simple ways, people value when they come all the way in the traffic and all the things, they wake up in the morning and come to a meetup. The more likely they spend the whole meetup time of 4 hours or whatever duration. But if it is an online video, it is just a matter of seconds that, they may be flipping and then going to yet another website because, they lost interest in it. So be aware of that and don't judge your idea too early. The only thing I would suggest is do the sessions at least a couple of times before you say, hey, whether it's working, not working. Okay. The net takeaway, intention is not enough. Take some action. Now, how do you grow the community? Okay. This is one skill I have built for a good amount of time. I have refined it a lot. Communication. Many of the time I used to feel advertisement or, sales and all. These are all techniques that people use with wrong intention to get the product sold. But then your communication could be plain and simple. But, you start learning in terms of how to do concise communication, how to do communication that will create an impact and also that will lead to an action. At the end of the day, if your the mailer that you're sending is for people to register for an event, having a lengthy email on the benefits, on the topics, and then at the corner somewhere giving a small link, register here, may not be the right thing to do. You may want to start with a big button kind of thing in the email, clearly mentioning register here, have in terms of the agenda, and then probably you may want to repeat again, how to register for that. The communication, I have improved a lot in the last 6 years. And I also understood that, which time of the day, which day of the week, if I send, there will be more registrations. As I told, registrations don't guarantee people will come in, but at least you, over a period of time, you will learn that. Then participation. So this is yet another thing. For example, on the first meetup, I asked people, hey, what are the topics that would you like to hear in the next 3 sessions, right? I have got ideas pouring. Hey, we should do testing of JavaScript framework, some JavaScript framework which is popular, all that, right? But then the next session that we conducted, the first session, probably we had 15 people. The very first meetup we did in February 2016. Okay, 15 people. But then when we did the next session, it was better. We had around 40 people, right? But then out of the first 15 people who gave feedback, they gave feedback with the intent to improve, but it was not a commitment. Means hardly 1 or 2 people came again, the repeat, who came to the second session. So one of the things, be aware of it is, when people give feedback, they give it with the intent that probably because you asked for it. Okay. And it does not mean that there is some kind of commitment from their side. It is just they are giving feedback with just the intent, right? But commitment is something where you will see when people are repeating, or you see people coming into your meetups or sessions, or whatever you conduct in the activity, they get involved. You start slowly seeing some set of people, probably 5 to 10% of the people who seem to be more committed to the group, and they're sticky about this group. The last one in terms of growing, adapt. Okay, this is yet another biggest lesson. You have to be nimble and you have to be adaptive. Let me give an example. When the pandemic hit us, we were always doing the offline session. Means there is some companies, every month we used to get a company who used to give us space and also sometimes food. We used to have very good lavish lunches. We used to have tea and everything served. We used to have burgers. We used to have pretty much whatever we can think of on a fun Saturday or Sunday. All that has stopped because of the pandemic. We started doing everything remote. So we looked at options, and then we realized that Zoom is probably the cost effective because we are a not-for-profit group. But then there was a huge set of feedback from community that, that was around the same time where Zoom was not considered to be very secure and safe. There were some messages that were going around that it's not good. So you have to sometimes listen to the community, what they are saying, and then you have to adapt. Then we had to quickly find out alternatives to Zoom, and then it was not an easy task for us. Similarly, people had suggested, we were using Slack earlier, but then it was a paid tier was too expensive for us to afford. So people suggested Discord, people suggested YouTube, Instagram. So you have to keep on seeing where your set of community members walk around, or spend most of their time. If it is some kind of generation wise, you want to look at maybe Instagram. If you want to look at professionals, maybe LinkedIn. If you want to look at Facebook, there are many options, but then you have to keep on adapting and trying. We have tried WhatsApp, we have tried Facebook, we have tried Telegram. We tried many of the things. Of all the things that we tried, for our community, what was good was meetup.com still happens to be the maximum. We have around 9,500 members registered there, spanning across 15 cities and 8 countries approximately. Okay, it is global, not just Bangalore based. Similarly, adapting in terms of Telegram and WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group is the most active, and then comes Discord. Discord, we have around 1,800 members. It is super active. The maximum interaction happens in this community on Discord. So you will learn how to adapt. Net, how do you grow? Very simple. You will learn the most valuable lessons of psychology because you are interacting with people, you are influencing people. That is the biggest skill that you will develop over a period of time. Now, how do you expand? Now this is where you will start thinking like an entrepreneur, because now you got an entry, you got a credible, you have ran multiple meetups. For example, when we were around 3 to 5 years, we ran the meetup consistently every single month. then people started taking us seriously, right? Not only the community members started taking seriously, and we have a good fan following, we have a great set of volunteers. We also started getting sponsorship. People were willing to not only give us space and food, they were also willing to give us money. Okay, money so that we can give speakers a token of appreciation. We give Amazon gift vouchers. We have done that. So the credibility comes with numbers, right? As we became somewhere between 5,000 to 7,000, that's when we got a good amount of sponsors. We have also got people who want to talk about their hiring. They want to talk about the company. We have got more and more spaces that we can operate through that. So build a story, boast your numbers, and talk about it. Second is spot leaders. So this is another important thing. If you want to expand your community beyond a certain range, you have to spot leaders. As I mentioned, right, you will see a pattern. There are 5 to 10% of the people who are regular to your meetups, and they are also active in various forums and channels, right? They are very good people to make them as volunteers or leaders. Okay. Last 1 year, my involvement in JavaScript meetup has been almost zero. Okay. But then what happened is the events have been running. They are more creative. So we have 2 leaders. One is Patro, the other person name is Sunny. These people are brilliant in terms of the kind of ideas they get, how to drive the community, how to get more community participation. They're really amazing. The kind of progress and activity they have brought in, I have never got in the first 5 years. So I accept it. And then what I'm happy is there is a community where the leaders are coming homegrown and they love to do that. So here in this case, remember one point: the willingness of a person volunteer to do is much more important than the skill or expertise they have. Some of the people who are great volunteers in our team are people not the most experienced or the most intelligent folks, but they are people who are willing to give back something to community. So that is one of the greatest things, that somebody is willing to do, willing to care. It's good. Then win-win. Yeah, this is yet another important thing. When you're gaining sponsors, when you want to build a community where, whether it's sponsors or you want to do tie-ups. For example, we are tying up with React India. We have a tie-up with a couple of other groups where they are hosting, right? So what we do is there is another group called DevCode, which is run by Sunny Puri, yet another fantastic group. And, we tie up with them because they host fantastic hands-on sessions, right? Those tie-ups are so strategic that we have really grown at a different scale altogether and different pace because of those combinations. As long as your intentions are matching with the alliances that you're building, it is a great way to grow. So net, if you want to expand, you should be building some of the skills that entrepreneurs do. Okay, understand your market, identify more places where you can attach people, boast your numbers, sell what you're doing, okay, and create win-win, and then you identify the next gen leaders. Now, what to expect? What to expect as a community leader? Yeah, one simple thing is, for each one it may be different, so I wouldn't suggest. But if you have to take my opinion, what benefit I have got, I think it has made me a better human being, connect better with the people, and also better in terms of thinking strategically and also adapting to different situations. There were many times where probably, I had some troubles in the personal life or something in the career. But then this third identity of mine, being part of a community, has never let me down. Like, even if it is up and down, it was always challenging and looking forward. So it really made a difference in terms of the happiness factor and the satisfaction factor, a huge difference. Some of the lessons, quite common. This is Christopher Columbus. And Christopher Columbus, if you know the story, in very, very short form, right? He had a huge perseverance. He was asking for sponsorship of his voyages from various people. It was an expensive expedition, and a lot of things were perseverance. So you will come across a lot of things which are highs and low. There will be times where you feel, wow, you know what? You have a backing of a community which is 10,000 people. At some point of time, you will feel too lonely, right? That is part of the journey. You will have a lot of ups and downs. Some things will work good, some things will not work good. but just be sure that, if you like something to do, you just continue to do, right? So that is perseverance goes a long way. Yeah. And that is where I mentioned that, you're not doing it for others, but you started the group because you wanted to do, right? It is just like, what Christopher Columbus also felt. There was nobody who was craving that, hey, what, if you don't do it, the whole market will collide or fall. There was a Silk Route, which was a land-based, but then he wanted to try out something, thinking differently. He wanted to go in an opposite direction to reach India, right? Or that time, the Oriental, all these countries. He thought differently, but then he wanted to do because, just because it was his passion, his dream. From his childhood days, he was thinking about that. Second thing, while we feel internet and technology has come a long way, but when you really come to meetups and organizing, still we are in the nascent stages as equal to what Columbus was long back, right? Why do I say that? Number one, the tools, there is no single place. For example, meetup.com helps you to create a group. But then if you want to host events or do video conferencing and others, you have to look for another platform, right? And you want to build a homepage, you want to talk about all the speakers, what happened and what are the other groups like Telegram and other channels, you may want to create yet another homepage, right? So if you take the homepage and multiple channels you have in different platforms, LinkedIn, whatever you name it, and then hosting, there is no single place to do that. So it is quite cumbersome. And to identify where a new person joins, they may join Discord, but they may not know anything about other stuff. So there is no single place. If you are an entrepreneur or looking for something similar, I think this is definitely a great area. I have heard of something, where they are building, but nothing comes very close. So in this journey of community leadership, you will find things little scattered on the technology. And you go back to the analogy of in the forest, Google will not help and others was in that context, I mentioned that. The third thing is sometimes you may have wrong assumptions. For example, Christopher Columbus felt the distance between the starting point and to reach India, he somewhere miscalculated and undermined it grossly. Okay, undermined it so grossly that he would have not carried enough supplies to reach the destination. If really he had to reach the destination, their consumables would have perished and they would have died. Right. Fortunately, they hit another landmass which they felt was India, and then they hit North America, right? So here, one of the lesson I would suggest is, you may have wrong assumptions at the beginning. Sometimes when you take action, probably you're taking some steps forward. So, and then your wrong assumptions, you don't know because you have to validate it only when you make the voyage. Similarly, when Christopher Columbus, when he made the voyage, he later realized that, the distance and the size of the globe and the continents are very different than what he calculated, right? Absolutely fine. But then that shouldn't stop you from going ahead with your journey. Okay. The summary of what I gained, hope you recognize the people on the left side. Richard Stallman, who started the whole open source foundation. I was fortunate to meet him 15 years back. And Linus Torvalds, who gave us the Linux operating system, yet another great contribution to technology area. What did I personally gain? Definitely, there are some things money can't buy. One of it is great sense of satisfaction. Making an impact that, hundreds of people, when people had a huge job loss during the pandemic season, when, there were a lot of people who were let go and then opportunities were not as much. Our Discord community has helped many people get their jobs. Many people who didn't get internships during that period, they were able to get some internship through the network that we established in this. The number of first-timers who got an opportunity to talk, which they would have never dreamt of doing it, there were a lot of opportunities. So the kind of impact you can make and something that happened beyond is you cannot measure it. Humility, definitely. I think this is one area. When I go to these meetups, I leave my personal identity, father, son, whatever, I leave that, husband, I leave that. When I go to this, I don't wear my corporate hat. Whatever I am in the company doesn't matter. I go there as a community leader just to serve the community. So, and I'm really surprised the kind of talent we have, the great people. I get truly inspired by seeing people who have probably at a very young age, they have great aspirations to achieve. It's really great. And the humility is constantly that will help you. The last one is 5% selfish. So to be very fair, while I have done all these things to give back, But what has really made a difference is it has helped me, whether it is on a LinkedIn point of view, the way people approach you, or the way in your own career, right? As I mentioned, there are many companies who value community leaders. I have got benefits which are side benefits, not the monetary, and many of them I have earned it. Okay, whether it is from a title point of view, whether it is from a benefits point of view in terms of subscriptions from Microsoft, all that, right? So I have got back. So it is quite huge.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for a lovely session.
Thank you.